I'm right here at the department where I am going to wait for the call of the doctors for me to have a check. So I just came out of the clinic, the infection clinic, and they took the swab test. It was not it was okay, but I was uncomfortable because they took the swab, you know, those stuff that like you put on like the cotton buds or so. They press it like a little bit further on in my mouth, and I received an information that if it become positive, they would probably call me in the night. But as for now, when I come home, I'll be isolating myself, which means that I have to be far from my children and my husband. And probably if it's positive, then I'll be off from work for a while. But let's hope for the best that it's not. Let's hope that it's negative, because when it's negative, then it means that it's just an ordinary cold. So now what I'm doing is I'm gonna walk home. Right. So see you again. And I'll be telling you the results tomorrow. If however it will be, I'll tell you. Alright. Blessings. I woke up very early today, like 5 o'clock in the morning, still waiting for the call from the infection clinic.
Malayo kami sa iyo.
Kaya nga,
Tutulungan ka niya ako, Diyos. Magpwede ka lang. Wala naman kami matutulong sa iyo, anak.
It's been like almost 2 weeks. Now I'm gonna be back. So Hello everyone, this is Rochelle Rosenberg. So I am here in the city right now and I just came from work. So I have been away from my friends for a while, and there are things that I'd like to say why I was gone, right? Why I was away. Not gone, I wasn't dead. This is not the ghost. But what I can say, my friends, is that I'm back, and I have been into many disasters in life. I have been into different kinds of trials and tragedies, but this one is much more tempting emotionally, mentally, and even physically. So in the 18th of May, I have been ill, but I went to work in the 18th and 19th, and then in the 20th I got so ill. I had fever, and much of the strength that I had just went on in survival. I wasn't critical or so, okay? It just took too much for me. I'm gonna give you some tips on what I did and what we should consider when it comes to our community. So for the first, I would like to say that I got positive in the 26th of May, and the result came on the 27th. But what's amazing was that my situation was less serious. All right, so when we think about the COVID, we know that the symptoms are headache, body aches, and fever. So what's important to remember as well is that some people can actually survive from this, and I am one of them. So what I could remember on the 20th when I get fever, I actually had a terrible headache. I've never had that before, and I've never felt so ill before, and I've never been so ill as this was before. I've got terrible body aches, and so when I came home, I just took some paracetamol. I couldn't eat, but I ate actually. Even if I couldn't, my smell and taste had got lost, but still I managed to eat and swallow. Most of the things that, or the food that I actually ate, were more soup, and I mashed a lot of kind of meats, like the chicken and the beef or so. And one procedures that I did was I actually cleaned up everything that I touched, and I separated my own plate, I separated my own utensils, all the things that I used, and then we cleaned literally everything in the kitchen and in the whole house. We changed all of the stuff, even with my kids' room. We changed all of their bed sheets and their blanket stuff or so. And most that you can do actually when you got positive is that you must be good in your hygiene. Number one is hygiene, and number two is that take in something to eat, because whenever you don't eat when you are ill, you are actually contributing something bad to your immune system. You will not probably survive, or your body will probably cannot have any battery at all to get energy from. So it's very, very important to eat something at least, and to become positive. So what I mean with that is, when I had the illness, when I got positive, I was actually affected emotionally and emotionally and psychologically, because we have to be isolated, right? So one thing I could share is that when we become isolated, it was just me, my son, and then my husband. And one positive thing with that is we actually stayed inside the home. And one positive thing in Sweden is that we don't have any lockdowns for the home, for individuals, but we have to respect the distance. And since their culture here already includes preservation, they already have it in their mindset. So we don't have to We didn't have to think about the lockdowns actually, but we were all home, and then we actually got the chance to go out a little bit in the forest or just take a little bit of walk around our area. We didn't go in the town, we didn't ride any transportation because it was forbidden. What's interesting is that my children didn't get it and my husband didn't get it, although he took care of me when I was very ill. There was a certain information in Swedish health department that once you are ill, or at the time you are having the symptoms or fever and all of those symptoms, you know, at the same time, you are actually infectious. It's easy for you to scatter the illness. But as I can say, my husband was actually free from that, and that's thanks to God. So while we were on those times of isolation, what I did was I ate a lot, even if I didn't have a lot of taste, even if I didn't have a lot of smell. I was very much more careful of my hygiene. I was more careful on where I go and where I touch. I limited my movement. Like the only places that I go to was in the one chair in the kitchen, and I clean after me. And whenever I lay down in the bed, there was no changes actually. Me and my husband still slept in one bed, but you cannot say that there was a 1 meter distance from me and my husband. But it was actually one positive thing that he was there, because it also proves that the distance is not so much as big deal for me. Okay, this is just for me. All right, so this is all of the things that I say here is just according to my experience. So most of the things that I ate actually was just soup or stew, or I boiled a lot of ginger tea. And there's such claim that all of these things would heal you, but those are the things that would help your body to recover fast. Okay, so it's like you're having a flu or you're having colds and you have to recover from that. So these were the things that I did. All right, and when it comes to emotional, and since because we were isolated, I wasn't actually afraid of dying, but I was a little bit afraid for the people that I loved. I was afraid what would happen to them. I was just worried for my family. That's all. And I tried my best to be positive, and the most thing that I did on those days actually were praying. I was actually praying most of the time, and the more isolated we became, the more that I spoke with some of friends that I just chose few friends that I talked with, and they know who they are. And one thing is that whenever you hear about this kind of sickness, please always refer to the World Health Organization or refer to your country's health department, and please obey as well the distancing, obey the law. And if you got positive as well, please do not be sad. Please be positive in your mindset. Be thankful of the life that you have. Actually, that's one of the things that I was always thinking. When I had one, I was just thankful of what God had given me. I wasn't even thinking of the negative things. I was, maybe those negative part or thought that I only had were the fear of leaving the people that I love, right? So I wasn't so much concerned about those bad people, you know. I was just concerned of the people that I care. And I think what boosted my inspiration was that God would give me a chance in life, and I will never steal ever please anybody. Never. Because you know, life is just one. You just live once, and when you please someone, you lose one part of your day. And it's important to adjust yourself in different circumstances, but never please someone, because when you please someone, you are giving them the benefit to abuse you as well. without you knowing it and without them knowing it. All right, so I'm so much pleased of all the things that you are doing right now. And by the way, as you are staying here and watching this film, I'm so pleased that you have cared and you listened, right? So thank you so much for your time, and I hope that next time I could see you again. So be positive and pray always. God bless you. Okay, so guys, I just wanna tell you something about why we don't have lockdowns here, and maybe we're just gonna ask some of the teenagers here what happened with them, or how do they feel about this COVID. And let's see, so how does this COVID affect your surrounding in school?
School?
Yeah.
Well, we don't really go to school. For these past months, we've been at home and having, our lessons at home, by the computers.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's really affected us.
It's like harder to get more knowledge through the computer than actual conversation with the teacher.
Yeah. Okay.
It's harder to get help.
Yeah. Yeah. So when it comes to your family, did you have like social distancing at home?
Oh,
Not
no.
really, obviously.
Yeah.
No, you didn't. Do you have some friends that got affected of the sickness of the COVID?
Not really. Not that I know. No.
It's a little bit more secret, I think.
Probably. People are probably embarrassed to say if they've had it.
Yeah.
So.
How do you know, just by walking, for example, how would you deal with people whenever they cough outside?
Deal with people.
Yeah. How do you deal with them? For example, if someone just coughed around you, what would you do?
Oh, well, yeah, we keep our distance. We try to keep our distance.
Yeah,
from other
try to
people.
avoid it.
That we, avoid as much as possible.
Okay, so
Sometimes.
you are 17, right? You are 17 years old. My son is 14, but he's very afraid of coming near to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my mom's a nurse, so she's also very keeping her distance from us, the
Alright.
kids. She tries to don't come too close, don't hug too much. No.
Ah, your mom is a
just in
nurse.
case. Yeah, she's a nurse. So she works with some people that has.
I'm working as a nurse assistant as well. So I already had the distancing, but sadly we don't have that on my work. But I got it somewhere else. I don't know where.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
It's hard to know sometimes.
What kind of symptoms do you know about COVID?
Throat.
Yeah, people have they cough a lot.
Yeah.
Fever,
Fever.
very bad.
Sickness, maybe nauseous.
And it lasts for like 4 weeks. So,
Do you know how many people died in Sweden?
No,
No?
It's
not
a
right
lot.
now. Yeah, I know it's a lot, but I don't know how many exactly.
You're actually not reading.
No.
I can't remember, but according to the Worldremit.com, they have some information. It's around 3 million that survived
That's good.
in the whole world.
Oh,
That's positive.
Yeah.
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 But it's worse in America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so much.
So what do you think about Sweden not having lockdowns?
It's very positive for the economy.
Yeah, it's true. Like, it wouldn't work if we had a lockdown. It wouldn't
Yeah.
work. That's what happened in America right now, and it's not working for them very well.
Yeah.
People are losing jobs. They have no jobs, like 40%, I think, of the population, and they have protests against that too now.
Yeah.
So it's a big problem for them. So I don't think it would
Yeah,
work.
we don't face that here.
Yeah,
so that's
it's not a
very
big
positive.
problem. So it's working pretty well.
So I think we're fine when it comes to emotional and mental,
Pretty much.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So now you've heard a little bit about what they say, and these are the two girls that I actually talked to. Their friends were a little bit brave. They left the background. So probably they're the superhero for today. So thank you so much.
No problem.
Så tack så jättemycket. No får jag bara nosebleed på den där.